Hello. I'd like to apologise for the quality of this film, but I'm doing it with my iPad, so I hope it's going to come out okay. I'd like to show you how to make an ordinary wall like this into a wall to look like this or similar. I've got a perfectly ordinary wall here, which I've painted grey, and now what we have to do is divide it up so that we can make a sort of brick pattern on it. And what I've done with that is I've had a ruler which I used to divide the wall into sections of around about 9 centimetres, and made marks all the way down the wall right to the bottom. And then, as you can see by the piece of tape here, I've put already one piece of tape around the wall. I'm going to continue doing that all the way up and all the way down. What I've got is some masking tape, or as some people call it, duct tape, and I have cut it so that it's uneven. So what I've done is I've taken the tape and I've got a knife and just cut away, taking the knife away from my hand so I don't cut myself. I've cut it all the way around so that I get a sort of unevenness, as you can see there, if you look closely, on both sides. And then what I've done is got a laser. Now it looks a bit exclusive, but lasers are quite cheap to buy, and this one wasn't expensive. I got it from a hardware store, and I used the laser and a tripod, and I've moved the laser so that it goes through one of the marks which I've made on the wall. And I've already done one here, as you can see, a little demo, and I'm going to do one more on top of it, taking it round the corner, because I'd like to take the bricks around the corner a little bit, and then not being too careful, just being fairly random, take it round the corner, take the laser sort of roughly in the middle of the tape, and just keep on going all the way round, top to bottom. It's quite a long, drawn out process. It'll probably take me about half an hour to do the whole lot, maybe a tiny bit more. I'll show you the first stages and then probably speed it up so that you don't get bored and switch off. And the next stage is to take the laser up. Excuse me for blocking your view here, but I have to take the laser up to the next line, which is above it. I could go up or down, doesn't matter. And I'm going to get another piece of this tape, again take it round the corner to there. You just keep applying the tape, not too carefully, as I said before. You can make the bricks as large or as small as you like. That's completely up to you, there's no rule. I think average bricks are about 6 or 7 centimetres thick or deep. These are a little bit bigger because I think if I make them too small, it'll take forever to do. I'll take the laser down this time so that you can see it's moving down the wall. And I'll take it to back here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carry on going up and down and speed it up so you can see the process as quick as possible. Now the next stage is to do the vertical lines as opposed to the horizontal ones. What I've done now is I've marked 24 centimetres from the edge all the way down, so it's a little mark there, and then again there, all the way down, right down to the other corner. And then on the one above I've done 12, because that's half of 12, half of 24. So there, so you get the sort of brick pattern, and then 24 from there. So that's what you do on that one, and then all the way down to the corner again. Then you use a laser again. The laser is not for preciseness, but just for marking, and then you start to take them down randomly again from where you took the first mark, which was the 12, and it was about there. do it below as well. All the way down, all the way up. Keep going. And you can continue. Move the laser to the other one, to the 12 centimeter mark, and take it there as well. That way you get the brick pattern starting to form. And then it's, you see, starting to come to life slightly. And then take it along to the next one. And keep it going. It may seem a little mundane, but it's actually quite satisfying to do this, because you can sort of see the results already starting to show up. I'm just going to continue to do this all the way down to the end of the wall. Again, I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, because it will become rather dull and you'll probably switch off. So I'm going to just carry on until I get to the end, and then we'll resume this video. Now we've come to what I call the fun part. I've only got one chance to show you this, because once I've done it, I can't go back. Basically, I bought some filler. It's a great big tub of sort of filler. You get all sorts of different types in different countries. This is a medium, sort of not too difficult to sand down, quite rough, so it has a sort of slightly stony effect to it. Basically, just put some on the end of your palette knife and take it over, just like that. Doesn't have to be done tidily. In fact, if you do it slightly uneven, it's better, because then you get a nice sort of rough-ish texture. And you take it right to the corner. And just basically cover the whole wall, from the very top to the very bottom. You continue to do that. Doesn't matter where you start. So you can start in the middle, you can start at the edge, you can start at the top, anywhere you like. Just make sure you cover everything. Remember, we took the measurements before, so I know where the tape is for when we have to remove it. Don't do it too thick, otherwise it'll be quite difficult to remove the tape afterwards. You get the general idea of what I'm doing. I'm now going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to finish the rest off camera. Take it round the corner. When it's drying, if you stroke the palette knife over the filler, you get a sort of slightly rougher effect. Right, I'll see you at the next stage. Now for this part, I want to show you the wall close up, and there's a very good reason for that. As you can see, after I taped it, I left the tape sticking out of the end. The reason for that is that it's completely covered, so if I have it at the end, then I have something to grip, so I can pull it away. And so I'll do that now, and you'll start to see the effect of the lovely brick wall. If I pull it away like this. Now the horizontal tape was done first, so as I pull it out, as you can see, it's moving the small vertical bits and shifting them. So I can also pull them out. And then I can take those away like that, and then remove another horizontal strip, and you can see the lovely brick shape forming. It's a good idea to remove the tape while the plaster is still slightly wet. The reason being that I think that if it's waited to dry it could just crumble. But while it's wet it moves nicely and doesn't change shape after you've removed the tape away. The tape comes off nice and easily without damaging any of the plaster above it. So you can see it's starting to form into rather a nice rustic looking brick wall. I will just continue to do it on the whole wall and then show you the result afterwards. Now we come to the next stage of the brick wall. As you can see, I've finished the wall. It's now been painted in one colour. I painted it all the same colour as the grouting. Now it's time to colour the bricks. I've chosen a sort of brickish red-brown colour, and I'm going to apply it not with a paintbrush but with a sponge. And you need to be very careful, and you can keep on layering it as much as possible. But what you do is you dip the sponge into the watered down paint solution and apply it with the sponge. So you get that sort of slightly broken effect. And then you can add more colours to it afterwards, depending on how rustic you want the bricks to look. It's quite a slow process, so you do need a little bit of patience, or should I say quite a lot of patience. If you get any paint in between the bricks, which I have, as you can see, you just take it away with a cloth, and you can also soften up the brick with the cloth as well, depending on how you want to do it. Now it looks a little bit standoutish at the moment, but when you get all the bricks done and you start to blend the colours in, which I will show you how to do before I show you the finished result. It'll all sort of start to make sense. The more I do, the better. So I will just continue to do this, and then I will take you to the next stage. Now, as you can see, we're coming pretty much towards the end of the wall. Just a few left to do. It hasn't actually taken as long as I expected. The good thing about using a sponge is that you get a sort of like a mottled sort of texture, like a real brick. And if there's bits that show through, that's actually a good thing. Because afterwards we can add lots of different colours, and I'll show you what I mean in the next stage. This is now the finished wall. It looks like pretty much a brand new brick wall, which is one way to leave it. You can either have it looking like this, or you can have it looking like a wall that's been exposed after removing plaster. And I'll show you how to do that afterwards. Now we're going to make the wall look a bit more rustic. As I said, you can leave it like it is. My wife is perfectly happy with it, just like this, but I'm going to make it a little bit more rustic looking. And to do that, I'm going to add a little bit of white and a little bit of black in various places. I've used a rolling tray as a sort of palette. Put some white here, mix some water with it, and some black here. And I'm going to use a sponge to just dapple the effect on, and maybe a cloth to wipe some of it away. What you have to do is just sort of dab the colour in a little bit and then soften it out in various places. Just do it where you like. You don't have to do it everywhere. You don't have to do it much at all, just a little bit here and there. And then a little bit of white as well, but make sure it's been watered down a little bit, otherwise it could be too thick. You just want it to look like it's been sort of just, it's not really there deliberately, but more just because it's been exposed after being covered up for many years. It just gives it a nice sort of rustic look, as you can see. You put it on where you like and as randomly as you like, because otherwise it looks a little bit fake. Now I'm going to continue doing that, and then I will show you how it looks afterwards. But first of all, I'm going to continue in silence and possibly speed it up a little. Remember that if you're not happy with the result, you can always paint over it again with the original brick colour, and then it looks exactly like it was before you started, so you haven't lost anything by experimenting a little. Remember to use the sponge to soften it as well. While you're applying, sort of push the paint out a little bit with the same sponge. Never apply too much. It's always better to add on than it is to take away. now as you can see we're sort of coming towards the end, the very end, well at least as far as I'm going to go. I'm just going to take a little bit round this side. Now as you can see, the bricks seem to have come to life a little bit. So this is how you do a brick feature wall. Have a go, it's great fun. I hope you'll enjoy yourselves. Thank you very much for watching.